Hey, it's 28mm RPG here again. This is going out to sameøldji. This is a channel that I have recently subscribed to, and go check out his content. He was recently talking about pros and cons of GM prep, and talking mainly about over prep. Well, here's my take. So let's get into what you should over prep. Now, this is for a fantasy game. I would call it a series of adventures. It could end up becoming a campaign. Now, a fantasy campaign is a lot different than prepping for a science fiction campaign. It's kind of similar to maybe a Call of Cthulhu campaign, because you can have in a Call of Cthulhu campaign like an organization kind of built like a guild that sends people out to investigate various things. It's similar to sci-fi as well, with Call of Cthulhu, where you're likely in an organization, or you're in a ship and you have an objective and stuff like that, where fantasy games tend to be a little bit more loose, because not necessarily speaking the players are part of like a guild. They may not be associated that way. They could be just people of happenstance that bonded together. However, preparing for the adventures is a little different. So there's over prep, but it should be done properly, I feel. Because if you over prep the wrong things, you're going to end up with a whole lot of stuff that you're not going to use. So for me, this is my opinion on what, and this works for me. It's my idea of what to over prep. So first off, I go with my basic 3 things to prep for my very first session. That would be a town. So your town would be like some sort of conglomeration. It could be like a hamlet or something, whatever. It's your town will have like roads coming out of it from various areas. And in your town, you should have a place to buy, sell, and you should also have some, the players should be able to get known in this area. This is where you become famous. So, fame. Fame is a good gauge for the players to see how well they are doing. If they are being recognized by the upper officials of the town as prominent characters in their world, players will gravitate towards that recognition, be it good or bad. Hopefully it's good. Otherwise it ends up being this town gets burnt down and they go elsewhere. So what you have to key in on here is the buy and sell aspect here. You have to have NPCs built for buying and selling from. It's good to have like interesting NPCs. You also have to have quest givers in this town as well, if that is the case. If your adventure hinges on like a guild or a particular organization that sends out the players to do things, well then great. But if you do not have that and you are just putting together a group of players in order to go hit a delve that they found some sort of map to, well then start them off over here in the location of the ruin, as I draw this out really haphazardly. Some sort of archaic dwelling with a cave down below here, and maybe an entrance up here, and ruins and rocks everywhere. So we have our ruin over here. This could be placed, or it could be you could have it not placed. Sometimes I have it placed, sometimes I just don't have it placed in the initial campaign. So I have my town location, I have the dwelling that they are going to be the ruin that they are going to be basically plundering. So if I started off a random group of players, they would obviously be out here ready to go ahead and hit this delve. So I would have this location figured out. It would most likely be, well, if they're entering through a cave, it'll be a cave location with a few caves like so. Maybe a passageway going up. Something simple like that could be drawn out. So we'll have some stalagmites, stalactites, all that kind of stuff. Throw in a couple of monsters. Throw in a monster here as a little side thing. Maybe a couple of guards in the entrance. Maybe a backup in here of a couple of underlings. And up above, you're going to have, the entrance to your tower, which will be the ruin, which they will be able to gain access to. There might be a door to this ruin. There would be like stairs going up into more rooms, so we might have a few extra rooms along the way in the levels. So we'd have level 1, 2, 3, and then of course up on top would be the top level. This might be the roost of some sort of maybe it's the roost of a manticore or something. So the players go in, they go ahead and explore this little cave complex. It could be even more rooms than this. It could be whatever you feel like. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what I'm showing you here. And then we have rooms here, which lead to finally this manticore, which is up on top here with its treasure. That is enough prep right there to get your players involved to possibly one whole session, maybe 2 if there's like a lot of character interaction going on here. That's enough basic prep to get you by. Now, over prep is stuff that you should be focusing on specifically in a different context of preparation. So players will be visiting these places, the town. They will be visiting the town and the loot spot. So next is to prepare for future games. So, like I say, I don't place adventure delve locations on the map until it's the right time. I collect these ideas in a book of random locations that I make. So every time I create a new adventure, I will pull out a book. I will start writing down some ideas on the graph paper. basically stuff like mini dungeons. So I would have a stuff like a dwelling with a basement or cave complex, kind of like this here, where it's just basically 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 areas in the basement, 2, 3, 4 areas up on top, which are the levels going up. Or, it'd be like a house. For example, it would have a kitchen and a couple of rooms here, an entryway, an exit, another exit here, and then of course, something like a trap door, which would go down below into a basement level. So the basement would be possibly a few rooms that go like this, and there's a place where the witch that lives in this house kidnaps the children and keeps them in cages in some sort of weird kind of complex with put the trapdoor there. And you could do all kinds of weird stuff like that. And just have like these little sets of dungeons in this book with some ideas. There's a witch, there's children in there, blah blah blah. The Guardian, maybe put some sort of crazy scorpion, but it's a thinking scorpion. It talks to the witch all the time, and the witch talks to the scorpion. Oh, nobody hears what the scorpion says. The witch has it as a pet, but usually converses with it, so it's a really weird kind of relationship with it. And the scorpion goes ahead and does a kind of patrol down here and make sure the children aren't all out of line. And if there's any children that try to escape, well, they'll have to confront the scorpion. The scorpion gets a free meal. Creepy. And dark. Very dark. But this book ends up getting filled up with ideas like that. This dwelling and everything can be placed anywhere, anytime, whenever the time is right, when you need to interject the game with this stuff. So this kind of prep goes in my book. This one's unused. I'm just showing you an example of books that you can get here. This one being an Essentials from the United States. You get these on Amazon. They're called Essentials. This is the large black grid line book. $12.99 US. They go for cheaper because you can get them in group deals. So you get a set of 3 of these books or something like that, and you get a better deal. These are made in the US, and they're nice books. Peter Popper Press. Awesome. Very durable, very thick paper in here. You will find very, very little bleed from paper to paper. And these are small. They're not super large. They're a half book basically. They're if you take a full page paper here, like this traveler sheet, you can get an idea that they are basically half a page in area. Great books for that kind of stuff. So prep your books up with a lot of like cool little dungeon ideas like this, and make a big collection of them. You can use them for any fantasy game as you come along. Just pop these out whenever you need them, and you can switch out the monsters last minute kind of idea. Last 15 minutes of prep before the session, you might decide to switch things up or add a couple of little finds in here, some magic items that might be useful later on. So you give them a challenge and you give them some rewards here. Also, as I throw my pen around, what you should focus on your over prep NPCs. So any character that you interact with your players should be over prepped. So your NPCs will include henchmen, hirelings, quest givers, other ones would be like monsters. All of these will have quirks, fears, loves, and goals. A lot of my monsters, I have their contingency plans already figured out, how they're going to escape if something bad happens. And usually I'll have things in the dungeon where they could obstacle the players as they go through it. I had a dungeon where the evil cleric would hold monsters as he made his escape, and then as he held the monster, he got past it, and then he would let the monster go as soon as he was a safe distance away from it. And then the monster was free to go ahead and chew up on the players as the bad guy makes his escape. That sort of thing with contingency plans. Some of them will be traps, that sort of stuff. The enemy could lay traps along the way or know where the traps are along the way out. That sort of stuff. You got to be cunning with your big bad guys in order to let them have a chance to get away in a situation. So players can come up with all kinds of ways to thwart the escape of the big bad guy or the lieutenants of a big bad guy. So my overprep is basically on NPCs, because you want to make your henchmen have, you know, their what I will do and what I won't do for this party. Hirelings, same thing. The quest givers, they got to have their goals. Why are they sending them out to explore this Manticore's lair? And of course, having the players start here, going there, doing something, achieving a goal, coming back out, and then coming to the town, which they were kind of given glimmers of before they started the game, but they didn't start there. Now they reach the town and they have a story to tell about their adventure against the Manticore and thwarting it and getting the item for the quest giver in town. Thus, they get the fame and they end up rejoicing, and the town rejoices. In the meantime, as this is occurring, you're having the players go out. You're also listening to your players for ideas. Don't let them know that you are mining them for information, though. You want to have an idea of what these characters are expecting out of the adventure, why they may come up with ideas of why they're getting this item for this quest giver. They might come up with conspiracy theories. You could have this interesting item up here that they're getting being something that's mystical, that they don't know anything about until they see it, and they realize, oh, this might be something evil, or this might be something of the good, something that's good, like a talisman or something that has some sort of strange power, or it's a key to something. So why are they bringing this key back to here? Maybe they have some ideas of, maybe we're not going to give it to this person that we're charged with getting this item. Maybe we're going to... Then you have ideas now for in town. Some sort of confrontation might go on. So you prep for that, because they're not going to reach back in town until they've gone through this entire complex, which is going to take them one session. And by the time they've done this, it might be session 2, and session 2 or 3, you might have some better ideas of what you're going to flesh out in this town in order to make this over prep work in your favor. So that's where I have over prep. You can also do over prep in the ideology of the basic area, like the country that this is from and all that stuff, in order to give you more of a flavor on how this town is presented visually for the players. You could also have a little bit of over prep on maybe some stuff in the fringes. But don't let them know that there is a forest up here, or a mountainous cliff with a ruin over here, unless you've already got this stuff prepped. Because dollars to nothing, if you present that there's a forest in here, a haunted forest, we'll call this haunted forest. If you tell them that there is a ruin or a haunted forest and you don't have anything prepped, you can pretty much guarantee that as they're standing in front of this entrance, they might say, you know, that haunted forest sounds more interesting, and they might end up going there, and you have nothing prepared for it. Or they might go for that interesting ruin over here, and you have nothing prepared for it. So don't let them know that there is something over here until you have something there for them to do. All they gotta know is about this location, their goal. Grab the item, the talisman that they are getting for this person here in the town. That is their goal from session 0 on. Session 0, start here. Loot, go through the cavern, come out, go through the rooms, kill the manticore or drive it off, grab the loot, run, get out. There might be something that you plan in here. We're gonna have adversary party, a party of criminals that want that item for their quest giver, who might be in opposition of the quest giver that the players are employed by. Now you have something interesting. You're going to prep this party. This itself, this encounter here, can take some time to complete. So we have one session going through, possibly the second session meeting here. Once you grab that, encounter the adversary party. Now you have a full 3 sessions worth of things before they hit town, and you have to prepare for something else. Perhaps this haunted forest that you had an idea for, or some of these filler dungeons that you've created along the way. There might be this witch's spot, which might be on the way back to town, which you can have encountered. There might be a farmer and his wife in distress that their child has gone missing, as the players are coming back and sees that the couple are grieving and nailing a message on their farm signpost outside of their farm saying, "Please help us." And that's where they get into the situation with the witch and the children in the basement. And that's where your little over prep locations come in handy in just popping down something interesting just to fill out time that you can go ahead and finish off making what's inside the haunted forest or this other ruin of interest that you might have an idea for. So that's as far as my over prep goes. Over prep, just over prep stuff that you can that are NPCs or that you can throw in as little smaller adventures that you can just drop down at any old location at any time in order to make it more easy for you to pre-prep larger areas for bigger adventures, or tailored to what you're listening to on your players, because your players are going to come up with ideas. Who's this for? Is this for some bad guy that we've heard about that lives in the haunted forest? Maybe there's a necromancer that lives in this forest. See, you're coming up with ideas as you're prepping here. So and as my mouth is opening up, I'm coming, okay, so now we have a necromancer in the forest who wants the talisman. And let's say that the necromancer is actually in league with the employer of the party. And this adversarial party is actually working for the good guy. So the players are actually doing the evil guy's bidding, however not knowing it. Or we could have it that the good guy is the one who wants the players to get the item. Then they reach the adversarial party, which is being ran by their contact in here, which actually works for the necromancer. You can come up with all kinds of different. You might not even decide that until players start getting their ideas on what's happening and giving you ideas on how you should twist this up. Because the players might have a totally different idea of how this plot is going to run its course. They're going to come up with their conspiracy theories on what they think is happening. And this, like I say, it's a gold mine of things that you can basically glean off of your players without them really knowing about it. I don't usually make a campaign all at once with all of these things right away, because I gotta know what this player party, what their ideas are, in order for me to tailor this to be a little bit more idyllic for the players. Because the players might want to be going up against undead. That might be their thing. They want to fight undead. Or maybe they want to fight hordes of goblins or something like that. Or they might want to be going after some swamp folk. So maybe this ruined forest ends up becoming a swamp. You're just getting ideas on what the players are thinking, and then you can evolve your vague ideas into something a little bit more solid on the fly, and then prepare accordingly, because you want to be able to have these adventurers fighting things that they think should be in the game. So even though their idea wasn't the Manticore being up here, it is a cool idea. Who doesn't want to go ahead and try to defeat a Manticore? Well, that's my spiel on overprep, what I overprep on. Hope you like my chicken scratch here and ideas that I have written down. They're very familiar to my previous videos on how I've prepped campaigns in the past, and you can check those out as well. There's a really long version of me going through a book with my campaigns and stuff like that. Thanks for listening to me blather on and ramble. And definitely check out sameøldji. The link is in the description. And please subscribe.